Hello viewers, today we shall discuss how to record the findings of clinical examination of the eyes in a case of cataract. After taking history and finishing general examination, the ophthalmic examination begins with these first four parameters. So from now on I shall present the case as it should be presented. All these assume that there is no other pathology in the eyes. Ophthalmic examination: head posture normal, facial symmetry normal, ocular position orthotropic, extraocular movements full range in both eyes. Examination of the right eye: visual acuity 6/60, not improving with pinhole, eyebrows and eyelids normal, conjunctiva normal, cornea arcus senilis present, rest of cornea clear, anterior chamber normal depth and contents, iris normal in color and pattern, pupil normal in size, round, reacting briskly to both direct and consensual light, lens greyish white in color, iris shadow seen, intraocular pressure normal by digital tonometry, and no regurgitation on pressure over the lacrimal sac. Examination of the left eye: visual acuity 1/60 with +10 and pinhole 6/18, eyebrows and eyelids normal, conjunctiva normal, corneal limbal scar seen, arcus senilis present, rest of cornea clear, anterior chamber deep, contents are clear, iris is normal in color and pattern, iridodonis is present, pupil normal in size, slightly irregular, jet black in color, reacting sluggishly to both direct and consensual light, intraocular pressure normal by digital tonometry, and no regurgitation on pressure over the lacrimal sac. Diagnosis: right age-related or senile immature cataract and left eye aphakia. After giving the diagnosis, you will be asked why you have made that specific diagnosis. This is an immature cataract because visual acuity is 6/60, lens is greyish white in color, and iris shadow is present. Aphakia in the left eye because visual acuity is 1/60, limbal scar is seen, anterior chamber is deep, and iridodonis is present, in addition to a jet black pupil. Just one more case we'll see. These first four parameters are the same. Examination of the right eye: visual acuity 6/24, not improving with pinhole, eyebrows and eyelids normal, conjunctiva normal, cornea arcus senilis present, rest of cornea clear, anterior chamber slightly deep, iris normal in color and pattern, pupil normal in size, round, reacting briskly to both direct and consensual light, lens glistening reflex of intraocular lens is seen, intraocular pressure normal by digital tonometry, and no regurgitation on pressure over the lacrimal sac. Examination of the left eye: visual acuity, hand movements close to face, projection accurate in all four quadrants, eyebrows and eyelids normal, conjunctiva normal, cornea arcus senilis present, rest of cornea clear, anterior chamber normal in depth and contents, iris normal in color and pattern, pupil normal in size, round, reacting briskly to both direct and consensual light, lens is pearly white in color, iris shadow not seen, intraocular pressure normal by digital tonometry, and no regurgitation on pressure over the lacrimal sac. Diagnosis: right pseudophakia and left eye mature senile cataract. Notice that the findings of both eyes are written side by side but presented separately. After narrating all the findings of the right eye, only then should the findings of the left eye be narrated. This is a pseudophakia because the anterior chamber is slightly deep, glistening reflex of intraocular lens is seen. And in the left eye, it is a mature cataract because visual acuity is hand movements close to face, lens is pearly white in color, and there is no iris shadow. I would like to draw your attention to this point. Whenever the vision is hand movements or perception of light, projection of rays has to be tested for. I notice that many students do not look for projection of rays when the vision is hand movements, so please make sure that it is done. Next, when vision is hand movements, many students also write perception of light. That is to be avoided because logically, if a person can make out hand movements, then definitely the person is able to appreciate perception of light also. So if you notice here, since I have written hand movements, I have written about projection of rays and I have not included perception of light. If the patient cannot appreciate hand movements, only then should you mention perception of light, and this is how you should write it. Let me know if this was helpful. See you later with the next part.